Very good evening, friends. So again, it's a pleasure to have you all again in a very new, exciting episode, which is the 16th episode of our 21-week journey to scale up skills and learning. We all started on 5th of September with a big bang. I'll just have a little recap wherein we had Mr. Anil Singhvi and S. Naren, Mr. Ramdev Agarwal, Navneet Manot, and Mr. Mahesh Patil, who were there as a part of the session, which really started the beginning of the whole program of 21 weeks. And this is like every Saturday we are meeting at 4 o'clock. And the whole initiative is powered by Tatva, and also the media partner is Business Line. And the next week, wherein we had Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai coming and sharing his Chanakya theory along with my book launch, which was there. Okay, this is the one, which was there. And then we had Professor Dr. Ajay Pathak from ICFI Business School, and talking on the strength, we had 5 volatility coaches from different parts of the country. The 4th week was about learning from Bollywood movies with Saurabh and Amit Bhai. 5th week was life was about celebration. Life is about celebration and about intellectual property laws. 6th week was really interesting again, wherein all our second generation, all the volatility coaches, their next generation, their children who are in business and doing extremely well, I think they all were the speaker, and it was really, really much appreciated and most welcome session as far as all the sessions are concerned till now. Then we had a session on fundamental analysis. And then during Navratri, we had photographs are for 8, but we had 9 of our volatility coaches, all the women entrepreneurs into financial wellness across India. They were all speaking. Then we had a session on niche marketing, where people with very, very special skill, and like dealing with only doctors, dealing with only army people, dealing with only entrepreneurs. So we had also a guest from USA, Eric. And then the next was after the SEBI regulations, which came and which is continuously shaking all of us into this business. The episode 10 was dedicated on that. What was the way forward as far as the SEBI guidelines are concerned? And then we had a week wherein our speakers, they talked about how we can actually deal with youth and also with children. So children and youth, these are like 2 different areas. You need to really deal with them in a different way. Both of them best-selling authors and a part of our volatility coach team group. Then we had a session wherein 6 speakers who are into stockbroking and also financial wellness. So they all combined, they gave a real good perspective on retirement and on long-term planning. Yes, dealing with HNIs and ultra HNIs can only be done by people who are dealing with them day in, day out. And like 4 of our coaches who are like from different parts of the countries, they really, really do it well. And this session was again one of the super hit session, and much appreciated, and a lot of learning out of this. Session on succession planning, and then session on international investments, global investments and international best practices. So wherein we really had a good session last week. So let's have a recap on this session.
Now you can see that before 2008 and after 2000, there is a big difference in the lifestyles of the Indian citizens. Now they are spending money on international investment, they're spending money on holidays. Highest number of money is being spent by the Indian parents on the children's educations. Probably they are having a second home out of India, destination weddings. and also they are trying to take the business out of India as well.
And in terms of assets also, I mean, now we are seeing almost 50 to 60 crore rupees every month getting remitted by people just for investment.
In terms of your advisory, this is where we think that there is a key differentiating factor. Our advisory, of course, is based on or predicated on a model of asset allocation.
So, friends, here we are today on the 16th episode, and like previous week, this is also we have additional support of TPF Kolkata Purvanchal, along with all the other organizations, and special mention about HR Sampark, about which maybe Ashish will be talking a little more, and. So, which is again an organization for HR professionals, and they are doing extremely good work. And we are happy that we are collaborating and doing some work with them. And so today we have Sujaya, Himadri, Ashish, who will be moderating the next panel, Ayan and Deepa. I'm sure we all will have a very good experience as far as this discussion is concerned, because each one of them holds the experience of, I think, 15 years to maybe 20 years or maybe a little more also. The reason I'm telling 15 to 20, because that's what they are into for HR. And I think someone told that if you can manage people well, I think you can manage everything, because managing people is one of the toughest thing. And if that is done properly, other things will actually follow. And in last 2 years, we have been interacting with various HR so that we can do financial wellness programs with all these organizations. And Ashish has been very instrumental in doing all this with us. We have been collaborating and doing that. So this is a good journey, and this helps everyone in one way. So today, the panel will actually share what is HR looking into, what are the other things other than financial wellness also they are looking into, and what is that they are doing so that no employees can have a great experience and then they consider their organization as the best place to work. So with this, I just now leave everything on Ashish. So I'll just pin one by one to all of them so that they can start the session. So over to you, Ashish. And yes.
Thank you, Tanaji, and thank you so much, SSSL Academy, for again partnering with us, and thank you all the esteemed panelists and especially the audience. We all understand we have been into a lockdown for quite some time, and online fatigue always sets in. But it is quite engaging to see 50 people joining in this session on a weekend. So we will do a justice in terms of giving you a different angle of what we think, and for that we have a great panel with us. I'm Ashish Banka. I am a HR leader with a food services multinational company, and also a Samparkian, as Kanakji mentioned. That we are WhatsApp, we formed a WhatsApp group 3 years back, then we converted into a non-profit trust. We do various HR related programs, academia interface, and leadership discussions, just to give a positive impact to the fraternity. And Kanakji and Saurabhji has been instrumental in our journey, and the way, in fact, HR Sampark, when we got registered, in fact, the name was suggested by him only. So we thank him for his all collaboration. Today's discussion is very interesting. And before I move on and give you a heads up of the topic, let me introduce to the esteemed panel members which we have. Firstly, it's a great privilege to welcome Mr. Ayan, who is a well-known personality and HR and tech professional, transformation specialist with over 12 years of experience in shared services, process transitions, and customer success. He is one of the founding members and joined the company, which is People Strong. We all are aware about it, and currently heading the customer success function, and comprising of SaaS, HR services, and payroll services. And is responsible for some of the critical matrices of top and bottom line, CSAT score, HR analytics, and he closely works with the transitions team, delivery team, a product team to ensure seamless customer onboarding, ongoing service delivery, technical support, and product lifecycle. Over to this, Ayan also brings valuable experience as an HR, specifically as an operation, as well as from the other side of digital and product development. We were happy to welcome him earlier in the CXO chat series, and again, it's our privilege to welcome him back. Thank you, Ayan, for accepting our invitation and being uh, on this
Thank you so much.
forum.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. A big hello and namaste to everyone.
We are happy to welcome Mr. Himadri. Himadri is an experienced HR business partner with over 12 years of experience in varied industries. Currently, he is associated with Finnish MNC Cone Elevators India Private Limited as lead HRBP for Northeast region, East region, and Nepal, based out in Calcutta. He has been associated with companies, repute of like SGS and Ultratech Cement. He is a fellow Sampirkian and an active member of HR Sampark Kolkata chapter, a goal-oriented management professional who drives, in terms of ability to work. And the best part with him is he can connect at any level. That's how defines Himadri. I've been, associated with him past 3 years and a wonderful friend. Thank you so much, Himadri, and thank you so much for coming over this series and giving your valuable time. We again have somebody whom when I moved to Mumbai, I got interacted, Ms. Deepa Shetty. Deepa is an experienced HR professional with over 18 years of experience, various companies. Deepa is currently head HR of Zolted Information System Private Limited, a reputed IT product company. Deepa has been associated previously with reputed companies like India Games Limited, Digital Process Solutions. Deepa has been recipient of many recognized awards. A few to mention: 101 most fabulous HR tech leaders of India international speech contest at an area level, where she was second, international speech contest at the first level, and 101 top tech HR minds, which award she was received in 2019. She was also HR Super Achievers 2018. It's a great privilege, and welcoming Deepa with such fabulous experience, and she is well known in the Mumbai circle. Thank you so much for Deepa for accepting our invitation and coming over this Saturday.
Thank you so much, Ashish. This was a wonderful introduction. I think my day is done, and I'm looking forward for the enjoying the session now. Thank you so much, Ashish.
Thanks. And last but not the least, Ms. Sujaya Nag. Sujaya is a passionate HR leader, over 10 years of experience in the industry, handling entire scale of HR strategies and operational aspects in various challenging assignment in India and European organization, with industry exposure of heavy engineering products, banking, finance, information, HR consulting, OD, change management. She specializes in onboarding, talent integration, talent development. Sujaya is currently associated with Inventor Digital Technologies Limited as head HR. She is also the secretary of HR Sampark Mumbai chapter. She was recipient of Best Performance of Employment winner in Pinnacle Award in 2029. And Sujaya is one of dear friend. Thank you, Sujaya, for accepting this invitation and giving your valuable time to discuss a very interesting topic, which we will be. Great. So, the friends, the topic which we have today, and when we were discussing with all the panel members, and wellness, it comes, it's very important term nowadays when we define wellness. Wellness from a personal as well as professional perspective. And when we talk about wellness, the one thing comes to our dimensions in terms of everybody has their own segment of wellness. Some people might relate to finance, some people might relate to health, some people might relate to professional, and some people might relate to personal. So while we understand all these things in terms to get a feedback from everybody that what they think about wellness, how the organization has coped up in this challenging environment, and as we come back to normal, what are we doing in the organizations and especially as a bench practice. And we could not deny the importance of digital interventions in all these wellness. While we started this session, I'm happy to say, no, we were thinking digital as a separate wellness. And while yesterday, while I spoke to Ayan, Sujaya, and other panel members, we came back and we realized that digital has taken away everything which we are doing now. We have become tech savvy, and while we take this wellness forward, what kind of digital interventions are impacting these wellness, it will be very important. So I will take this session forward, taking one wellness as an individual basis and giving an opportunity to all the respected panel members to present their views. And then, we will take it forward in terms of the questions which are presented by the audience. My first question is to give an opening, note to Mr. Ayan. My first question is to Ayan that, during this challenging period, how companies can maintain a strong bonding and relationship with their employees. And I would also request in terms of to share your views or the industry best practices, focusing upon, do you think digital interventions, have been hovering around this professional relationship well-being? So when we talk about mental wellness, relationships, professional relationships comes to a very important aspect. Your views to start with, Ayan.
Sure. When I think Ashish, you mentioned it right when you started, right? When I look at the term wellness, and this I keep on talking since I'm a mentor to a lot of young talent that we have in our team. So when I talk about wellness or so-called, if I have to break the term or simplify the term, say fulfillment, right? You kind of look at four areas, right? One is definitely your financial fulfillment or your financial wellness. The second is the most important one, which is kind of taken for granted, ignored most of the time, which is your relationship wellness, right? Or say, for example, your relationship fulfillment. The third one is kind of merged together. It can be your physical or mental wellness if you want to segregate them. You can, but otherwise, it is your self wellness, which is your physical and mental wellness. And the fourth one is again, your professional wellness or your work fulfillment or your work wellness, right? So these are if you ask me, the four pillars on which any individual, right, any youngster or any individual at a given point of time is residing. So any of these pillars, if they are shaken, right, you kind of overall holistic wellness kind of shakes or goes for a toss. So that's what my general take on the term wellness is, right? So a combination of these four is what kind of ensures that how fulfilled or how happy, the different terms these days, right? Or how well placed you are. And now what has happened is, over the period of time, and specifically in the last 8-10 months, there have been different tools or digital interventions around all these four areas, right? Kind of trying to keep you engaged, connected, make you more productive, help you measure. So this entire digital thing is kind of putting all of them together, and kind of giving it to the end user, that you have a digital intervention to measure and look at how wellness in all four of these areas are like. A double click in all of these areas can also happen, right? So when I say your financial wellness, it can be the way that you manage your personal finances, right? And again, the other side is how financially you are secured when it comes to your workplace, right? We've seen a lot of disruption that has happened in the last 8-10 months. There have been salary cuts, there have been job losses, and people have taken quite a few impact there. So that's how I look at it. But yes, the digital intervention, if I have to talk about it and kind of put both of them together, so wellness and digital, these two are kind of put together now, and digital is kind of become a means to kind of achieve that wellness, or kind of keep a track or measure that wellness around these four areas.
Thank you, Ayan. I think that's a very good opening, comment which we have given, and we will talk more about this when we peel the onions going forward. My next question is to Deepa in terms of taking this relationship wellness. relationship is very important, and when we talk about as people leaders, between the organizations, intra department, and this pandemic, though we have been not able to meet people, but still we have come closer. With this statement, do you believe, and what are your thoughts on relationship wellness within an organization? How does an HR play a critical role to develop this relationship wellness?
Okay, thank you, Ashish. It's a great question in today's time, very, very relevant for us as an HR professional. Today, I feel that as an HR professional, where we were managing employee management cycle, today I feel as HRs we are managing employee life cycle management in terms of managing his entire life. What he is doing currently for managing is, helping him set his priorities when he's working from home and how exactly he's supposed to manage and balance his personal life as well as his professional life. So yes, relationship building has been one of the key factor for HR professionals. So how do you do that when this pandemic gets stuck? I could see a lot of chaos going around. This crisis situation has led us automatically into a change management drive where most of them were not ready. So in that case, relationship building was one of the core factors in which we as HR people scored really high to get that kind of a setup between the organization and the employees. So here when I say one of the main factors that HR worked on is driving safety and security in the organization, because lots of employees, the kind of negative news which were going around, so a lot of people losing job, there was pay cuts or not. So we, I feel, particularly in the IT industry as such, the main goal that an HR did in terms of relationship management was, driving safety and security with the strong communications that we have done to our leadership team, giving assurances of people of no job loss or no pay cuts, or that uncertainty factor was taken care well. So if you see, for example, like companies like TCS, HCL, Wipro, Infosys, they all, even declared that they'll be continuing to work from home even after the pandemic is ending. So that gives a lot of clarity to employees as to how to move forward. So there are a lot of ways in which the relationship building activities can be taken, and I believe that most of the HR professionals here have done that. So certain aspects in terms of how what I would take from the relationship building point of view, your human touch connections as to how as an HR professional you're able to do that, touch points at every level, giving them, assuring them safety, security, learning, growth, and stability. That's what I feel, and making my employee feel very relevant in today's time. That is my key takeaway from having a relationship building.
Great. Thanks, Deepa. I think you really pulled entire HR East into your couple of minutes of this, and it's very important. When we all go back, I'm also in terms when I take your feedback ahead and I move on to Himadri. Himadri company was one of the essentials company, and once we were discussing during the pandemic, Himadri was going to office, his employees were working. And as Ayan mentioned in terms of mental wellness, and then you talk about human touch points, Himadri, how difficult would have been when we go back and we discuss about communication channel as an HR leader. How difficult is it to emphasize communication channel for maintaining personal a relationship wellness? How you have done it? Any examples or any experiences would you like to share with us?
Sure, Ashish. So, good evening to all, to all my panelists also. Thanks for inviting in this panel and sharing this platform. So glad to sharing this platform with all of you. So coming back to the question which you were asking, I think Ashish, with my experience and during this crisis that we have gone through in the recent past, our learning as an organization, as a professional, is that uh, communication is definitely crucial, but more than that, it is crucial from the part of the organization with the intent, content, and the channels that you're choosing. So if these three are sorted out, I think the rest of the things will fall in place as we manage the crisis. And coming back to the later part of the question, which you were saying, how important it is, and what has been our experience. So I think we had good and bad share of experiences, definitely. But I would say we had been lucky that the good part of the experiences were more with us. I mean that was a good part for us. As you said, we are into essential services, so so one sector was not doing good for us, but obviously the medical facility, the hospitals and other stuff, which was giving us good number of business. So it was good mixed bag, I would say. And with respect to employees, yes, because they were on from the I think from May we were on the field. So managing their emotions, their safety, security was all on us. And I think with the help of management and whatever communication channel we were having at that point of time, we tried to utilize it to the fullest, so that the communication, the message is clear to the front line, and they are clear what is expected of them, maintaining the safety aspect. So I think that was what we did, and that was our game plan.
Thanks, Himadri, for sharing the experiences. Also, in terms of personal wellness, I would like to share an incident from our organization where one of their field level staff, he was identified as COVID positive, and within a response time where we lost out around half an hour to communicate to him, it was escalated to the apex level. We realized that constant communication is so important, because whatever we did for him went into water, because he just realized as a halo and an on effect that I was not handled properly for 30 minutes. Shuja, coming to you, in terms of when we talk about relationship, also important is productivity aspect. When we talk about wellness, how do you associate productivity with relationship? Do you feel that if you put more invest into a relationship with an employee, his productivity increases or decreases? What is your thought on that? Sujaya, you can unmute. I have unmuted you. Yeah. Sujaya, are you audible?
Yeah, Ashish,
Yeah.
thank you. And thank you, Suskan, for giving me an opportunity to speak on this. As Ashish, you have asked a very relevant and well questions that, relationship with productivity. Here, I actually would very much agree with Deepa, what she has said, Ayan and Himadri, of course. Like when we talk about relationship, many things comes to the mind. Companies like us and friend of mine who come into the essential sector services, manufacturing, who had attained their shift and cannot stop it to go there, actually had a midst of lots of challenges. There are people who are in the forefront of those industries. We have used to call them as Corona warriors. So talking about their family members who were worried and scared even before they step out from for the workplace. So I talked about the peak of coronavirus at that particular time. So logistics issues were there, and even though there we had support team who had really persistently, worked and amid a crisis from their home, which was again not too easy to deliver jobs from home, but again taking care of their children, taking care of the elders, no proper workplace, but they have ensured that the work should not hampered and delivered, and the show must go on. So I have to say, so that this is all about the productivity that they have shown towards their organization. So whereas on the other side, there are companies who were not doing that good at that point of time, who are going through a tough time, suffering losses. There was uncertainty of job, basically loss of pay cut, disruptions of their daily work routine. In those scenarios, I would like to talk about the well-being part as well, which you have asked about. So I believe safety and care are the most important aspects and going to be sustainable for a longer run in those cases. Psychological, emotional, and physical, of course, but more of physical, psychological, and emotional are the topmost in this priority. And showing empathy towards their real challenges, which can actually bring out their productivity and make it fruitful for near future. Because even though the pandemic situation is still going on, and we are still unaware and unsure that when this situation is going to get rid of, completely. So during this tough challenges and time, I believe, taking care of our employees, taking productive things from them would be, and showing empathy towards their little challenge, their real challenges would be a real time support to them in this COVID pandemic. Further, talking to about workplace, like the hybrid workplace will be a new normal amid and post-COVID pandemic. So when we talk about hybrid workplace, like culture, open communications, when through digital interventions. So in this case, I must say that well, when we talk about open communication, so leaders and the managers have a trustful communication with their team members, which will bring their confidence, which will also will connect it directly to their productivity, which will actually make their moral and functional aspects high, and that will again lead to a productivity for the organizations. So I believe that's all from my side, that company can really, our HRs, we have really done a fantastic job. Even till today we are still going on, and we are doing it the best. And we human intervention, as Deepa said, it's really a very well said by her. So human interventions, human supports, these are which cannot be physical, of course, but yes, of course, with the help of technical. So these interventions is really a great support to our employees and make our workplace happy and fruitful
Thanks.
for the next year.
Thanks, Sujaya. I think, I could not agree more to you, Himadri and Deepa. The only statement which only Ayan can validate, that we have done a fantastic job. So I don't think we should boast about ourselves. It should come from Kanakji and Ayan if they validate that we have done a good job. But, sum upping this first wellness is financial, what I understand is, LinkedIn also says connections. So our involvement to take these connections to a relationship journey is important, whether we do it in a personal level or at a professional level. And that's how I follow a 3C model: connect, communication, and conduct, which helps to build up a relationship, which helps to touch lives, and also ensures a productivity in the organization. Because as we say, if something is not with an ROI, absolutely over a period of time, that will become dilute. I thank all the panel members for giving their valuable thoughts in terms of communication, interacting with people, digital intervention on this personal, wellness, because nothing can, beat this kind of important aspect. Moving on, and I'll start now with Sujaya. Very important thing which all of you will resonate and second is health. And we have, I'll come back to Ayan, who is one of the health expert amongst all of us, because he follows a very good health, and he had given me certain tips also whenever we discuss. But Sujaya, coming back to you, uh, I believe Sujaya is there. Yeah, Sujaya. So coming
Yeah.
back to you, in terms health, health wellness is very common. Most of us have done lot of things, either in terms of extended medical policy, COVID insurance. Uh, Tell me how, in your organization, have you done health wellness, keeping a perspective of that important criteria in mind? If you'd like to focus upon any innovative practices in health wellness which your organization has done.
Ashish, you're talking to me. Sorry, my internet was little slow, but yes, I'm back. Sure, sure. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So please
Uh,
focus upon
no,
your health.
sure, definitely. See, Ashish, in this case, like amid COVID pandemic, as everyone is aware that there is no differentiations of workplace and home. So far, the organizations can actually offer their employees some help for some easy access solutions for the wellness program, like you can say yoga, meditation, followed by some online employee engagement services in associations with some wellness partners. Even more, people can also continue with their hobbies, which will actually help to reduce their stress and will also enlighten their life with positivity. And again, we talked about productivity just before, but which will also bring the productivity into the workplace for the employees and resulting a better ROI for the company. So now, as we asked about the safeguarding measures that companies are taking, I believe many of the companies have already started taking care of good measures and taking care of their employees' health and benefits. And there are other companies who are actually going to take more. So talking about the health part, as I said, there are companies who have already provided their employees some health insurance benefits, and companies who already do have in place, they have extended their coverage during this COVID pandemic. And insurance companies have equally and actively supported by taking the digital health for their customers. Supported in the sense they have gone to an online digital cards. They have they have allowed their the panel basically who is going to be the the going to submit the claim, to submit their online documents, submissions and claim registration. So everything has gone digital and online, and so
Yeah.
many. Talking about the maintaining
Sujay,
customer health.
I'll stop you in between. You have raised a very
Sure,
important point, and I don't want to lose that and take back to Ayan. You mentioned
sure. Yeah,
about
please.
in terms of health. Ayan, you are a digital organization. We are going to a digital fatigue, and we are talking health. Can you please knit all this together for us and help us? How do we, benefit health out of this? When we are all working, we are supposed to work. Work-life balance has got impacted. How your organization or how you believe that health is an important aspect in this digital, fatigue time.
Sure, sure. So, Ashish, I'll do two things here. Am I audible? Is the voice clear? Okay, perfect. So I'll do two things here, Ashish. First, specifically from a HR standpoint and HR technology standpoint, I'll give the audience and the panel a quick view in terms of some of the interventions that have been taken. And I'm not talking about those usual, medical insurances and association with certain health and fitness and yoga sessions, but I'm talking about pure digital interventions that have happened in the HR technology space, right? So what I think, and the first thing first that we did was, once the pandemic had hit, there was a huge surge in work from home. Now, was it easy that, can we go back and look at our attendance management system and do something which can be extremely easy for the employees as well as the administrator, the HR admin, to manage this work from home setup, right? From a technology standpoint. So your leave and attendance systems are typical, you do a biometric punch in, or these days there are mobile punch ins also. But we created a specific flexibility in our system wherein some of our customers are in the hospital sector, right, in the healthcare sector. So, and there is a rostering pattern there as well, and some of the people were asked to work from home. Some of them were supposed to work in different shift and kind of work throughout roster. So we kind of simplified that entire attendance management process, which is a huge step. Couple of other interventions that we took, right? Say for example, so our platform, the core HRMS platform, also has the capacity to create on the fly applications, right? So we created a COVID application. So what happens is, at every entry point in any organization, you kind of give that application to your security personnel, and whenever you are testing that individual, you're taking the body temperature, or you're taking certain vital stats before the employee enters into the premises, you kind of keep a record there. And at the same time, you also kind of keep a record of where the employee is moving around at his personal home location, as well as also within the office location. So that's a COVID app that we created, and this kind of integrated with your HR system. There are a couple of other interesting applications that we saw that had come up, and this was like an RNR application, but kind of integrated with a fitness setup. So you have your RNR platform, but you can also run fitness campaigns there. Say for example, for a group of employees, you can run a weekly number of steps done, right? That's a step that is kind of an initiative towards keeping your employees a little fit, right? So all of these different digital interventions we saw happening from an employee welfare perspective, and these were all specific HR technology or HR applications that were, even if they were not core HR application, but they were kind of integrated with the HR system to give a kind of holistic view to the employees as well as to the HR admin. So that is a quick, and there are much more. I can keep on talking about it. So many things came up from a technology standpoint. That is one side of it. But yes, on the other side, of course, with so many application, with constantly logged into Teams, constantly logged into Zooms, there are certain practices that needs to be built on your own, as well as driven by organization or by supervisor. Otherwise, as you rightly mentioned, Ashish, there is a digital fatigue which is bound to come in, because your usual breaks are not happening anymore. So moving from one meeting to another, moving another meeting, in the previous time you will kind of get up from your workstation, move to another floor or maybe another building. That's not happening. You are just flipping. You've opened up your calendar, people are looking at your calendar, and you see that, okay, this guy is busy from 12 to 12:30, let me block his time from 12:30 to 1 now. So you switch off one meeting and you move to another meeting, right? That's what is happening constantly. So the other side of it is, yes, there is a whole lot of exposure to this digital thing, and it is important that as individual we build certain practices, as organization we administer certain cultural practices around this digital thing, and most importantly, as people manager, this is to the line managers, right, and who are managing large setups in this entire virtual environment. They need to kind of practice certain hygienes to ensure that their employees, their reporters, their team members are not getting digitally fatigued. So I think that's what I wanted to add.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ayan. I think, it was absolutely mind-boggling to, and we have been associated with People Strong for quite some time, and whatever the work they do is really helping us in terms of, accelerating this digital transformation. And as you mentioned, it's very difficult, but a few people whom I've known in my lifetime who do not get fatigue is Kanakji, who is there on the screen with us. So he can just go on and go on, and I had never seen him getting tired of any Zoom session. But Deepa, coming to you, Sujaya and Ayan has mentioned very categorically in terms of health and digital. But whatever we have done, though, for the audience, it is a very limited approach which we can do in terms of health, in terms of seminar, in terms of extra insurance, in terms of Mediclaim, which Sujaya also mentioned. And Ayan gave a host of applications, but they all, did not say something which is M vitamin, which is money vitamin. Okay. So which they did not mention that M vitamin comes both. Nothing is for free. Whether you talk about digital, whether you talk about extra, which Sujaya has taken. And, I want to know from you, and moving on to in the similar line of the third wellness, which is financial wellness. Organizations have been bleeding. They have been, there, and the impact has come to employees, us also, many of us. How do you deal with this financial, wellness, and how do we say, that finance is a great concern to this pandemic? What are the effective approach to ensure finance, finance wellness for an employees where salary cut, all has been a knee-jerk approach. These are not constant. It is a knee-jerk approach, and one of them which we do is this Volatility game, which Kanakji and Saurabhji does for us, which helps an individual to plan his finance better. Because long time ago we used to say that you have no control of your salary, but you have control over expenses. Deepa, over to you. A very important, and coming from a woman manager, this will be very interesting to hear in terms of finance management.
Okay, Ashish, I really like the way how you put your question across. So kudos to you for that. I'm really enjoying listening to each and every word that you pick up. So yes, financial well-being has been one of the critical factors for an HR to manage in these pandemic times. So when I look at the kind of financial issues that employees have gone through, most of the organizations I think have been kind enough wherein the bottom level of our pyramid is not being hit. The hit has come to the middle and the senior leadership level, where it has been absorbed very positively by those two hierarchies, genuine enough to take care of our bottom pyramid well. So we have taken into interest to protect the financial interest of employees who are working at every level. So one of the factors that as an organization that we have done is to train our employees on how to manage your finances well. what you're earning versus the way how your expenditure takes place, even though with that what kind of investments that you all can do, and how to curtail your expenses. So in my company we have a in-house software, because one of my organization sister company is also a fintech product company. So we have a software in place where it tracks the kind of expenses that you do. So we have made our employee aware as to understand the uh, difference between a necessity and a good to have. So how do you differentiate between basic needs and necessity to work on versus what is good to have in life? So that is how we have differentiated that. Apart from that, we have also done one of the aspect to our employees in case of when somebody is undergoing a financial crunch, providing them with a bank loan where the interest is absorbed by the company, but the principal amount will be given by the employees. So certain these kinds of interventions, and for special cases we have also added a COVID special allowance to the salary structures. So certain things like life saving utilities are provided. So wherein all these aspects, so in short, to say in one sentence, we have made our employees aware of the important, as I said, the finance is the blood of every business and the necessity of every human being. So to take it forward to next level to manage your finance as well. So I think most of our employees are quite happy, and that's how we have gotten our survey feedback.
Thanks, Deepa. I think you must have done a wonderful job because you are also a home manager. So nobody can manage finances better than a home manager. So while coming back to Himadri, we again spoke about finance. As part of what is your take when you talk about finance? Every organization has their own limitations. We want to do a lot of things, but we cannot do because of constraints. What happens at a leadership level? What is the thought? Because when we talk about financial wellness, एम्प्लॉइज पर्सपेक्टिव इफ कि जितना ज्यादा सैलरी हो मिल जाए तो बेटर है, मेरा सैलरी नहीं कटे तो बेटर है. दे डोंट वांट टू बी on the receiving end of the the bad aspect of any. What do you think about it? How do you feel your specialization in terms of communication and conduct, how you do it with your last segment of employees across the East Zone and Nepal? What kind of queries you get from employees and what do you respond to them? It would be interesting to hear.
Sure, Ashish. I think again, I mean, the way you put up the question is quite interesting. So I think it's a double-edged sword working for us. Whether you need to look at the bigger picture. You need to look at the organizational health as well as you need to look at the benefit of the employees and financial wellness. So coming to that, I think it's very hard for an organization, people who are there in the leadership position to take a call on, whether how you make the ship sail or you sink all together. So it's a difficult call, but I mean, with the context and with the business as it has been in the past pandemic. I think we have what we did is we had extensive sessions with employees, especially in the end of March. I mean, especially when the lockdown started immediately in the very next week and April. So we had a lot of these sessions amongst employees so that they understand how difficult it is going to be for the organization, because though there was no major financial impact from the organizational point of view, but we didn't know how things are going to come. So we started giving through this session some hints and some well-being tips with respect to financial management, that how they should plan emergency fund and all those stuff. So I think that was one major initiative that we took. Luckily, so there was no major financial impact, as I mentioned earlier. So that made that double-edged sword working a bit easier for us. But had it been a different scenario, I think it shouldn't have been a very difficult task for us to take a call.
Thanks, Himadri. I think after your this statement, lot of CVs will flow to you. As you say, not much of financial impact. So you be ready for the surge in the CVs which you receive. Also, a second question in terms. Yeah. So the second question in terms of which I want to a leading question when you talk about employees in your particular genre. They are at the essential commodity. They're working. They're helping the society to run in pandemic. But there is another segment which is working from home. Though work from home employees are unseen, thankless, they feel they are all. But there is a different story to all those kinds also. And how do you deal with this kind of, because there's a mental imbalance when the people are at the at the field and they are working to sustain the entire organization, as you say, correctly, as the bottom of the pyramid. And there are some employees who are decision makers, line managers are working from home. This mental imbalance amongst the employees, how do you bridge this gap? Because mental, when we talk about personal or mental or health, and then we go to psychological wellness, mental or psychological wellness, what we think and what we do is very important. There should be minimum gap in these two things, action and think. How do you do that, bridge the gap? What do you tell the employees to do? And they are a common example which I got, that you are not expending on conveyance allowances, some segment of employees, and we are going to work, so we are expending conveyance allowances. So what is additional what we get in terms when we go to the field and work for the organization? Over to you.
Right, Ashish. So what it did is, what we did is like, we had this, top-down approach as well as bottom-up approach with respect to communication, making the channels open, make them aware that, you should be ready for any adversity which may hit us. So, the communication from the very next week of, lockdown was very clear from us that, taking all the stakeholders, especially the managers, branch managers. So we took them in confidence, and then we started disseminating information the way that, things are tough, and we don't know, how the global situation, the local situation will take shape. So accordingly, we started giving them hints, and then, and then, once that session was done, then we started from our end, I mean, from HR perspective, sessions with each location wise, that how we should plan and everything. But the point that you mentioned, that so you are working from home, so some component of a salary they may stay there, or it may not be there. But so what we did is like, anyways, travel was not there much for us before mid of May. So that part was, whatever was existing in the structure, it was there. But after, when they started going into the field, so it was as it is, in the okay, am I clear?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought I got disconnected. Okay, so what we made sure and reinforcement with all the sessions that we did, that you should be prepared for any adversity. So though there was nothing as such, big impact or adverse impact, major adverse impact, but the channels were pretty open. We were also expecting tough questions, difficult situations, but with once the market started opening from May onwards for us, it was slowly and steadily was coming on track.
Thanks, Himadri. Thank you so much. I think, happy to hear again, I'm giving you more opportunity because you get more CVs. So that's how,
Sure.
Question comes to my mind before we are closing end of the time as well. Before I take a closing thought, a very interesting question for Ayan, which I asked him on my CXO series also. And this is wellness. We have spoken about, last 15 minutes, we're talking about wellness for the employees. All of us are having empathy. We are sympathetic to the condition, to our employees. Anybody who is retrenched in any organization, we feel sad about it in our community. All these things, we have a soft heart, as like people, we in lame language, in vernacular, we say ki maa ka dard hai HR ka, so that's how it comes up. But organizations, so me, Deepa, Himadri, and Sujaya, more or less are clients for Mr. Kanak and Ayan, honestly, and all other many financial advisors who are there in this forum today. I want to ask, Ayan to give a tip to all the prospective consumers, clients, those, we are clients, so some prospective, when we talk about a product, any services, any intervention, everything comes with a cost. We all know that organizations have inclination that when anything wrong happens, we cut down and we go back to cost saving modes, either from the employees or from the overhead expenses or from anything.
Hmm.
You gave a very interesting point last time when you talked about, when I asked you that, your softwares, when we go for people strong, has created, and last time I mentioned there was a surge in people strong services because they have given designed applications, HR technology, which are aligned to current environment, which are
Sure.
not,
And the
so
search continues.
as the search continues,
Yeah,
but it comes with a cost, I am.
sure. Yeah.
So as a person, as a commodity expert, how do you tell the client that, or HR people, like if we go back from here and if we tell these technologies are there, can you buy? बहुत difficult होता होगा उनको मतलब convince करना to buy them. How do you do that? If organizations are reeling about losses, and then you come back and say as HR people, we go back and say that please buy this. This is a good for the organization. Not easy to present to the board or CEO.
Sure.
Free
Sure.
of cost things are easy, but comes with a cost. So how do you do it, Ryan?
Sure, sure. See, I think one thing that we all need to agree is this in this entire pandemic state. One thing which was, while everything was shaky and while everything was kind of unpredictable, the only thing that was predictable was technology and digital, right? And we kind of all banked on it big time, eyes closed, right? Be it your Zoom, be it your internet connectivity, be it your mobile or the applications that you use, they were all constant, right? Rest of the things were kind of unpredictable and shaky. So I think more than we reaching out to our customers, I think the overall community has realized that they need to invest in the right technology, and that is only and only going to help them in the longer run, because it's not a short term game that they are into, whether it is going to be your human capital management or your financial management, or even say any kind of asset management, right, that you look from an organization standpoint. And technology plays a very, very critical part to it. So that's the first thing. So there I think there is while before the pandemic, the organizations were like discussing a little bit, debating and thinking, and some of them were a little aggressive, most of them were not that aggressive about going digital. I think there is a huge push that has happened by default, so it's no more a kind of debatable topic, but it's the necessity at this point of time to move towards a digital environment, or take a digital step, or pick up a digital strategy. And then that's the first step, right? And the second step of it is the kind of solution that you are providing. So honestly, Ashish, when we reach out to our customer, we don't talk about technology. We more talk about the kind of problem that we want to solve for them. It can be an attendance problem, it can be an onboarding problem, or even it can be a larger a talent management problem, how you manage your learning setup, or even if you're looking for a succession planning setup. So these are different problems that we want to solve. So getting together with the customer and kind of creating a solution works well. And technology, as I always say, and I tell to my team also, technology is the means. You need to know what you want to solve first. If you're able to provide a solution, technology will fit in automatically. Of course, you need to have a good technology, but then it's the solution that we focus on primarily.
Thanks, Ayan. I think that's a very good point for all of us as HR leaders to go back and turn the organizations, take this crisis into opportunity. And while we discussed wellness, we touched I in the interest of time I tried to make it a fast track, but we touched upon all the kinds of possible interventions which HR and organization has taken to impact the employees, specifically in a positive way. While we take the closing remarks, I will request Sujaya, if you have to give a closing remark to a wellness theme and an organization, what would be two commitments, other than giving advice? I think we all as leaders should take commitments to take owners. So Sujaya, what two commitments would you take in keeping a wellness in perspective, that with this organization or wherever organizations we go, so keeping this concept in mind, what are the two wellness practices which you will always carry forward for your organization in wherever you go? So over to you, Sujaya.
So going forward, this type of wellness, we should definitely keep in mind the first and foremost that employees are the organization's most important assets. And we need to maintain our assets, and that is employees. Rather than manufacturing assets and heavy assets, employees are also one of the important assets. And wellness is the most positive state of mind, mental health. And so positivity and believing yourself is the most important aspect of all those well-being. So I think these are the two important things we should definitely carry forward. Now talking, as Ayan said, that interventions of digitalizations and all, I believe 3Ds are the topmost important. What are those 3Ds? That is data, digital, and design. So data that, in this hybrid work culture, analytics, and that putting data in the right manner so that accurately managers can pull out those data at any given point of time. So would be one of the most important productive, and that culture that will build a real culture for the future world ready. Talking about the digital, as we have actually talked about digital, because everything we talked about related to digital, as Ayan said, like talking about attendance, talking about performance, which related to productivities. So everything can be digital. And the third D, which is the most important and last but not the least, is the design. So taking help of design thinking prospects, companies and organizations can really upskilling, reskilling, and reinforcing their entire structure process. Definitely, at the presence of the business requirement, so they can do that. And these three things, I think these are the 2 and 3 things we should really carry forward, being an HR leader, being an HR professionals in an organizations wherever we go. And we should value our employee, and employee should value their organizations. That's all from my side, Ashish.
Thanks, Sujaya. Thank you so much for your inputs. Deepa, if you have to pick the most important out of this 4 wellness, which one would be yours? And I know it's a difficult, but which one would you keep or advise all the HR leaders, to keep that in priority? That is absolutely non-negotiable.
First and foremost, for me, one slogan that comes, take a break before you break down. So that is an important fact for any HR, like, to create that importance of lifefulness is something that I would look forward. So for me, all the 4 aspects are like the wheel of life. So all the 4 wellness factors are very important. But if you're forcing me to choose 2, Ashish, then I will choose mental and health. Mental health, because if health is in place, the mind is in place, everything will come into place. I can earn more, I can use digital platforms, I can also have to go for detoxification also for using digital. So a lot of aspects to it. So that is my take on it.
Thank you so much, Deepa. I think wonderful to
And
get
one more, one more before we end. The best thing that has happened in COVID is we have stopped celebrating lack of sleep. So as an HR, we were able to win that out for our company. So that is something I feel that's a great achievement.
Thank you so much, Deepa. Himadri, over to you. Which wellness is most important, and what to advise the HR leaders to focus upon primarily? You are on mute, Himadri. Himadri?
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me, Ashish? Yeah, okay, fine. So yeah, I think I'll probably go with what Deepa said. I think that is one of the most important things at this point of time. And the other thing that I'll go ahead is that the financial wellness thing for sure. I think Ashish, during my words which I was sharing, I would like to mention one thing that we did probably in the pre-COVID area, which helped us in many ways, is that we were having financial wellness sessions with Suskan from 2019. So I think probably that was much helpful for us with respect to making that awareness, making people aware of the importance of financial wellness. And that actually became one of the supporting pillars for us. So definitely I think the mental part is definitely there along with the financial wellness. If you combine the both, we're a winner in this market.
Thanks, Himadri. I will not even cross-question financial wellness at all. So that would be the end of the day. Deepa, you told that you made your day giving your introduction. Today, my day is made having Ayan and Mr. Ajit Menon on the screen. The both of them have been, gracious of part of my CXO HR series, which they have been there. And thank you, Kanakji, for making my day to have both of them. And last question of the evening before I end from Ayan. And your mantra, you have seen HR from both the ends, and you are a kind of person whom I've known few months, that you are very, very straightforward in terms what we need to do, what we can do, and what we should do. Very clear with this. What is your mantra in terms of giving the HR leaders an advice? Because now you are on the other side and critically evaluating us what we do. What is your mantra on this wellness, and what advice would you like to give a final to all of us?
Sure. I think one advice to all HR leaders is make your line managers more like your HR managers. That'll solve a lot of our HR's day-to-day problem, right? I think every line manager should become an HR manager, and that's the agenda that every HR person should pick up. That's one. The second thing is, while we are talking a lot about technology and digital, but when it comes to real implementation of technology and digital, we've seen that there is a lot of flexibility that needs to come in to the HR team in terms of working on those age-old policies and processes, right? So when we talk about digital, it is not about just talking digital, but kind of seeing to it that you are able to successfully get the maximum out of the digital strategy that you have. These are the two things that I will say. That's more or less a general a kind of agenda for the HR team members. For the employees, I think it is important, we should and Deepa has rightly mentioned, this financial training. I think this is something which is absolutely missing from our overall education system, right? And when I say financial training, there's not those big hardcore accountancy trainings. I'm talking about simple budgeting, right? And how can you value the minimums, and how do you invest in the right time? I think that is something that the HR team can pick up, and specifically with the younger population, right? That will give them a lot of peace of mind, and help them prepare for situations like these, because many of us are caught off guard, right? When this hit us badly. So I think these are the three mantras: offload your work, give it to the line manager, make them HR, so that you can get into better things like making an organization a truly digital organization. And when you're taking care of employees, please see to it, because the first flavor that an employee gets about financial is when he's negotiating his salary with the recruiter, right? So if we can start the financial education a little bit from there, I think it'll go a long way from their overall financial wellness perspective. So that's all. I think these are three things that came to my mind right now, and I can go on. But in the
thank you so much, Ayan. I think the last sentence, everything was except last sentence gave us a bit of a goosebumps, because everybody starts negotiation hard. Then what salary do we offer? So as HR people, we go all over budget. So so Kanakji has been an expert of doing whatever you have said, and what is the requirement which you have put forward. So Stan has been one of the leading pioneers in doing that, building the economy to become financially aware. I'm not going to eat away much of the time of the next session. I thank everybody from bottom of my heart, and thank you so much, Kanakji and Saurabhji, for organizing and giving this opportunity. Sometimes when we rarely get an opportunity to come back and discuss something which is not very technology, yet it is very effective. Thank you, Ayan, Deepa, Himadri, and Sujaya, for sparing your time. This is something which has given us a good 1 hour to have a good weekend. When we go back, and whatever Ayan mentioned, we all of us will go back and tell our leaders, though we don't know whether they'll come back, approve or not, but if we get a good price, we can always go back. And thank you so much, friends, for investing your time, and let us invest into relationship. That is most important. And thank you so much, Kanakji. See, you mentioned digital, and see how digitally savvy is Suskan, where they have issued a certificate on all of us also. Thank you so much for this gesture, Kanakji.
Thank
And
you. Thank you so much, Ashish, for a beautiful moderation. And I think we all have really learned. And I think each and every financial wellness advisor or a coach need to connect with HRs and explain them in the proper way, as all the panel members have actually shared. So it was really, really nice. And this is a digital certificate. The other one will reach in your mailbox or your WhatsApp for sure. And thank you so much for your presence, Ashish. Sujaya, thank you so much for your presence and sharing all the precious things, which what an HR needs actually. And Himadri, yes, we have been interacting and working with him, and he's an amazing person to really work with, no doubt. And Ayan, really good learning, and I think we need to talk a little more with you. I think you are really, really good in whatever you have shared. And Deepa, really amazing, amazing stuff you shared, and I am sure we look forward to connect and see how we can reach out to more and more HRs of the country and take financial wellness and all the other wellness together. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you to the panelists. Thank you so much.
thank
For a
you, a
great
lovely
moderation.
audience. Thank you so much. Be safe.
Thank you to
Thank
the
you.
audience.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
So much. So there is something which is going to come up before the speakers, our speakers come in. All of you can also write, because it's going to be a question and it's going to be a digital format. Maybe not many of us are used to that. Not many of us were used to Zoom also earlier. But so this is something which is going to be there. And before I welcome each one of the speaker who is like a pioneer and a stalwart in the mutual fund industry, and a lot of learning which is coming from each one of them, who is going to come and talk in the next few minutes. Let's have a little thing where all of you can just write on by looking at the screen. Before we have this asset allocation thing video, and we talk about asset allocation. So this is something which is there. Now, what you all have to do is take your phone, switch on your camera, and just scan the barcode over here, okay? Or you can just go to slido.com and just write what you think about retirement. Because before we talk little, whatever you will write will come on the screen right now, okay? As and when you are writing, it will come on the screen. I know this is a little, again, but we will have to, yes, see, somebody has already written. See, you sitting there, whichever part of the country, you just write it and it will come up on the screen over here. Okay, not physical. Okay, somebody has written happiness. Okay, so you just need to scan and you need to click to the, and you will reach to the place where you really need to go. And whatever you will write will come on the screen. And this is the way we will be playing the quiz after all our esteemed members have also done their part. Again, we are into gamification, and no, it is all about engaging more and more people. Wow. So I think freedom is the word which more number of people are writing. So when one particular word, more people will write, it will become bigger and bigger. Okay, so some of them are writing golden age, no tension, following the passion, happiness. So can we have few more people writing it? It's very easy. You can just scan the barcode and just write whatever you want to write. Okay, not on this screen, but when you on your phone, or maybe if you are on a laptop, then you can just have your phone there, or maybe if you are on your phone, then maybe put it down and just scan and write. Okay, so in the meantime, you all continue to write. Okay, see, such nice words are coming up. Good to see. Few more words. Okay, so this is all what we are thinking, and that is what our speakers will be sharing about a little bit. Wow, financial freedom. Good. So far, only 12 people have written. I think all of you can see that. Stress-free, peace of mind, no tension. Okay. Is it fun? So fun is also there as a part of this thing. Yes. Good to see a lot of you participating. Okay, good. Few more, can we have? Good. So, sorry, it's there already. Anyone? Few more? Few more? Good. Enjoyment, following the passion, happiness, break free, new inning of life. Wow. Good perspectives. So this is what we are thinking about retirement. That's good. So friends, with this, you all can continue to write, and this is going to be there before we all play the quiz at the end of the thing. And this is still on, so you can continue. And before I request our stalwarts of our industry to speak a little bit about what they think about asset allocation and why this is the right time, and it is very, very important to start thinking on this part of investment strategy. Let's have a little look at a video, which is, again, there is a full-fledged game, a program, a workshop, which is there. We are not going to play that today, but we will just have a look at a video and then over to all the speakers, and then we will have a little discussion with all the members by way of a quiz also today. So good, keep writing. I think this is still on. And in the meantime, let's have a look at the video. So, good. We will not have this now. So, friends, it is a pleasure to have all of you here. And just a second, let me. So, may I now request our speakers to. You all can unmute yourself. Yeah, Mr. Rao is also there. I was looking for if we can have Mr.
Kanak, hi, Ajit.
Hello, Ajit. Just waiting for Mr. Debasish Mohanty. Anyways, so really this is only a video which we are doing a launch over here, and there are many games. I think this is one of them, and this is the time where not many calculations are there in this game. Only just at the end we will also be launching a video on life of a man. We have already a video for a life of a man in India. Now we have also launched a video called Life of a Man using international brands. Okay, starting with an iPhone and Netflix and Google and all. So we will also share that video just before the quiz. So over to you. Looking forward to learn from all the stalwarts of the industry who are all present over here to talk about a little bit about asset allocation, and I think why this is the right time and maybe how games can actually help. Over to you, sir. All of you can. Whoever wishes to start, maybe Rao sir can start and then Ajit, and whatever way. Anyway, all of you.
Yeah, maybe Rao can go ahead and then I'll go in second.
No, I was telling I can request Ajit to start because he is mentor to many of us.
Come on,
I agree.
Rao. Yeah.
I
you are
fully agree.
being too kind. Okay, anyway, I'll just give a few maybe initial thoughts about asset allocation, and maybe from there we can take on the rest of it. From an asset allocation perspective, as people say that asset allocation is what ultimately drives the outcome for investing. This came about after long research and studies, and the most famous study was the Brinson study, which essentially analyzed multiple many portfolios, and finally came to the conclusion that 91.5% of the probability of how good your returns will be is decided by your asset allocation. 4.6% was stock selection, and every other aspect of it, all other aspects of it were the balance of it. So you can imagine that 91.5% your results are based on the quality of your asset allocation. So I think that was the starting point, and the next level that it went to is the efficient frontier theory, and the optimization models by Harry Markowitz and the rest in the 1950s and 60s, which are even today used by many of the wealth managers, using those software systems to do optimization of portfolios across asset allocation. Ultimately, it's just about figuring out a good meal, a good thali, what should be the proportion of everything that you eat. A good balanced meal is always what keeps you healthy. So if you look at it from the health and wealth perspective, it's pretty similar as an analogy. I'll only say that the way to think about asset allocation for advisors and for individuals is that, according to me, there are 7 asset classes. You saw the volatility game video, and you saw a few of them, real estate and gold and equity and all of that represented. But there are ideally 7 asset classes. So there's equity, there's fixed income, there's gold and precious metals, there's commodities, there's real estate, there's currency, and there's alternate assets. And when I say alternate assets, it means things like, private equity, and, people invest in paintings and wine and sculptures and antiques, and it's a legitimate asset class. People make a lot of returns, as you would have read in newspapers about auctions of paintings of old masters and, what it got sold for and things like that. So ultra high net worth and high net worth people, they do invest into that as an asset class as well. So 7 asset classes. And you can, literally diversify yourself not only across the 7 asset classes, but even in each asset class, there are multiple ways to diversify. Just to take real estate, for instance, when we say real estate, we think of a residential property, but there's also commercial as an investment. There's also land as an investment. So on and so forth. So I think the crux of the matter, however, is that they are not correlated to each other, and that's why you need the asset allocation. So that's the main point. And when I say that they're not correlated to each other, what do I mean? It simply means that when markets go up or down, all of them don't go up and down together. They are differently correlated to each other. When equity is going up, maybe fixed income is not going up, or gold is not going up, or if equity is going down, there's something wrong with the world and gold is going up, and so on and so forth. So making sure that you are invested in uncorrelated asset classes is the crux of asset allocation. That is what helps you achieve downside protection, which is what everybody wants, and also participation in the upside. And make sure that you're not concentrated. Like your grandmother says, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's the simplest way to think about it. You diversify. So let me stop there. I just wanted to hit upon the core of what it is, and KS and Ashish and everybody who over here will, Aniruddha for special, and all of us. I'm sure that there are great analogies to drive from here. Over to you, KS.
Thanks, Ajit. I think Debasish also is here, and Aniruddha, Manesh, and thanks, Kanak, for inviting us. Great to be here. I think all the smiling faces around, and before we had a glimpse of wellness session from the HR. It is fantastic. Good, good to have at the end of 2020 something about wellness, and when the markets are at peak, something about asset allocation. which is a wonderful combination to get a financial wellness. And I congratulate you and the entire FFF family. It is a financial freedom fraternity. And when Ajit was telling, it is uncorrelated, but we are all well collaborated. What a great combination, each one of you well collaborated and working on the theme so well. I think for me, the FFF is something in the current world. We are fast, furious, and what you call the future is fast and furious. And maybe Allocation making all of us to realize and give our customers a frank, fair, and faithful returns and advice as an advisors. Probably the FFF to FFF can go on. It's and kudos to each one. I'm glad to be part of, be here always. I really congratulate. I mean, further to Ajit, what he said is on the 7 assets we are looking at predominantly, when you are rebalancing or you have an asset class, either a ownership asset class or you have an asset class which is a lending asset class, how you need to play with it. And I've seen volatility game, and it's sometimes looks very complex, and you made it so simple, so fun, and it's always great to be part. And it has to be part of all of us to create true wealth as we go forward. And we have seen 2020 itself, asset allocation had played a vital role. If I am skewed to any asset class at any point, or if I am very biased to any biases, then I would have made zero, or I would have become hero. I mean, whichever. But asset allocation has put us definitely on the thing. I mean, and it's like, for advisors, it's a review or rebalance. It is asset allocation is not to maximize the returns, but reduce the risk. And it's always history shows to us, we don't know what future belongs to. And we never predict the future, but we can only prepare for the future. And asset allocation is a great storyline to look at for preparing for the future. And this simple 2 words of asset allocation is all that makes a successful investing. And between success and failure, and which stock to buy, not the which real estate piece to buy, but what is the right asset allocation makes us to reach where we want to reach. I think somebody it's on average 90% of variable returns coming from asset allocations, and 100% absolute returns are also coming from asset allocations. That's an importance of asset allocation for us. And right at COVID side, probably pre-COVID era, human activity was speeding very high. And but post-COVID era, the bear market cycles or bull market cycles are becoming shorter. And the price sinks are very high, and where asset allocation play a very vital role. And needless to say, why asset allocation is most important. And it's like Benjamin Franklin who said, the knowledge and investment pays the best interest. And today, everyone who is part of this asset allocation, probably most of the fund houses where we are going to work very closely, that can make all the difference. And it's like end of it, I can say how the 2021 looks, none of us can predict. And those, I think I go back to Tao saying, those who have knowledge can't predict, those who predict do not have knowledge. But asset allocation can be not predict, but it makes us to prepare. Thanks for having me here, and wishing each one a wonderful 2021. Merry Christmas. And I'm sure COVID would not have gone out fully, but fear in the minds has gone down drastically. And let us play this game of asset allocation. And any game you play is a fun, and anything you make it fun, it happen. And it's wonderful. Thank you, and congratulate each one of you. Thanks, Kanak, for invitation.
Yeah, rest of Aniruddha, Debasish sir, Manesh, or anyone of you, sir.
Thank you, Kanakji. Thank you for inviting me. I think the FFF community is one of the strongest and the futuristic community in this industry. I think listening to Ajit, K.S. Rao, everyone is quite interesting, and every time I listen to each of them, I gain something. So thanks for at least inviting me here so that I can gain a lot from each of these talks. Frankly speaking, asset allocation is a thing which we use very often, and at least whoever is an advisor, an MFD, or a AMC person uses it on a daily basis. But the question we should ask ourselves, whether we follow it or not. And we should ask on 23rd March whether we followed it or not. We should ask in January whether we followed it or not. And we should ask that today we are following it or not, when market is at all-time high, whether we are following it or not. And if we are following it, I'm sure on 23rd March, we will not be having any question mark. We will be able to manage our investors very well. We will be able to manage all the emotions of our investors very well. And if we haven't, I think again, market is giving us chance to follow that asset allocation. And let's try our best. It's easy to state, but it's hard to follow. And I can tell you that we all want that everywhere, whether it is a debt, whether it is a equity, everywhere it should be a one-way market. It never happens. And that's the beauty, and that's the reason all of us are there in this industry. I think with these games, actually speaking, we learn a lot of complex thing. We learn a lot of important thing in our life, which actually it's not about investment. I think it's a way of managing our own life. We learn a lot. So let's have those games. Let's enjoy and learn together, and that will help all of us to have a better financial security. I was going through those line. Actually, I wrote freedom, and frankly speaking, everybody wants financial freedom. And just before this, there was that wellness session with the HR consultant. I think any employee, and all of us in the AMC industry are an employee only, and we are not as lucky as the entrepreneur on the other side who are there in this particular session. But as an employee, if any person is having a financial security, I think his way of working changes. खुल के काम करते हैं, और वो खुल के काम करना, वो खुल के जीना, तभी हो सकता है the financial security आता है. So I think retirement is not on age. Retirement is just a mental thing. So the moment a person have a financial security, automatically retirement is nothing. So all the best, Kanak and the FFF community. I think the coaches, the volatility coaches, if you can create a tribe, and I know that that's your aim, that how you can create a tribe who will go on and who will ensure that they will teach, they will coach others, and they will propagate the theory of how to maintain, how to manage volatility and asset allocation. I think if we can create that tribe, that will help all of us, not only in investment, but learning our life lessons. Thank you. Thank you, Kanekji.
Thank you so much, Aniruddha. Has been encouraging like always. Over to you, sir. Debasish and Manesh.
Good evening to you all, friends. Am I audible?
Very much, sir.
Yeah. So I apologize that I couldn't come on time. I missed Ajit, Menon, and Manesh and case a little bit. I could hear, and because when I heard these guys are coming, and I told I will definitely come. I was busy for one very important personal meeting agenda. So, but I still told when it is Kanak Jain and the group, I must find some time and join it. So the topic is about a game on asset allocation, how I could miss it. So I have to come for some time at least. And I remember when I joined 35 years, 34 years back in UTI, and the trainer, in our induction class told, I'm telling that time also valid, now also valid. If you will not do asset allocation, you will be an us at all location. And you have to keep this thing in mind. I remember that in the Xavier Institute of Management, some trainer was telling us this thing, but it etched in my mind permanently. And although that was as easy or as basic as that which was taught to the people who are joining the mutual fund industry and any investor. But behind this, there is a very tight discipline, and the fact that the future is uncertain, and nobody can predict which asset class will perform in which manner. So in these uncertainties, one certain thing is that you stick to allocate your asset properly, and allocate the time properly, and allocate to advices properly. So if you do your asset allocation, time allocation, and advice allocation, I think investors will be there achieving their goal. Every goal is different. Every person is different. The standardized way of asset allocation may not help. Hence, you require handholder. Hence, you require a customization. Hence, you require what is good for me may not be good for Mr. Kanak Jain. So there are to be little required. And that patience is what will take you there once you decide your goal. Your risk appetite may be little higher, and why you should waste that bandwidth just because Debasish doesn't have that bandwidth to allocate under allocate asset per some asset class, thereby leaving behind a chance of earning higher return. So these things are very, very common and very basic. How Mr. Jain will put it to game and uh, make it an enjoyable exercise so that everybody will gain out of it, and our MFD or advisor, they will also those behavioral aspects of the asset allocation. This is all about behavior, because even if you know, even if there are Excel sheets, even if there are standard parameters, but still people will come out of this, or they will not stick to this. That's what the advisor or the MFDs will have a role to play. I remember having read a book called $1 Economy, where the person is saving only $1 a day, $1 a month, $1 a day. Even out of that $1, the money can go to in an asset allocation in a proper manner, and then people will go to, achieve their old age income securities. What we have just observed during this pandemic, why crores of people faced a very difficult situation, is the society has gone through change. The joint family is no longer there. Dependence upon agriculture is no longer there. The urban poor, urban persons who was earning and eating hand to mouth, from salary to grocery, and in between there was no saving. And that what happened in 18th and 19th century for famine in eastern side, having food in our FCI godown, our urban poor could not get the food because they didn't do asset allocation. And similar situation may come for even people who can allocate, who can have assets, but if they don't do asset allocation, they will have inefficiency, they will have less optimized results at the end of it. So whether it is an economy, whether it is a national budget, or it is a personal budget, asset allocation has to be done with a disciplined manner, and time will play the whatever is required to be played. That our role is not there. So first locate the asset, then allocate. And locating means saving. You consume as per your requirement, but have some asset for your future, what you leave aside that is required. And all your veterans are here, and we are discussing about a very basic things. That's what is good about the program. And Connect Zion, always I find him the gold standard of financial training. So you'll find out some aspects and make it deliver it in an interesting manner to people, that people will learn it for their life. And I would like to, if the game is already going to be played, I will be participating here and see how is these things. But I'm sure, I am assuring you that if there is some program in future, I like to see myself how it will benefit, and how we can tell our investors whenever we are going in our AMC or wherever this can be utilized. And everybody have a goals, they have a time horizon, everybody has a need of their own, like a balanced diet. Every asset has a requirement, and every asset class has its own value. And like your thali full of rice, dal, khichdi, this, that, ghee. So you need everything. You cannot tell just I will only have one asset class which I love most, and others I will not touch. So that balancing of it, that's what is the benefit, and the sticking to that is what is benefit, and time will play the remaining role and give you the return. And I wish all of you who are the organizers of this type of training and game, and very well success and super growth in your own field and profession and prosperity. And I missed some of my colleagues what they have told, but later on I will catch up with them. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Manesh.
Yeah, thanks, Kanak, and good evening, friends. Most of it has already been covered, you know. So it's always tough to be the last speaker, but nevertheless, I'll try to see if I can add a two bit to it. But Kanak, I must basically I must compliment you with the way you actually got everybody drawn into this entire asset allocation that was question. And I think one thing which came out very glaringly was financial freedom when you spoke about retirement. And most of us are in our probably at the last leg of our careers, and this is a very very important and touching topic for us when it comes to retirement. And I mean, I think nobody understands this entire thing about, financial freedom better than you. I think you not only have earned it, I mean, the way you've been managing your life, your finances, and you're enjoying what you're doing. I think that's very, very important. But clearly, it's not very easy to achieve financial freedom. I think what's important is two things: is one is you need to start saving early, and second is you need to get your asset allocation correct. If you ask me, anybody who has to essentially be successful in terms of reaching his financial goal, the heart of it is asset allocation. If he doesn't get that right, and unfortunately, most of us focus in terms of trying to pick the best performing scheme. And as Ajit mentioned, and KS Rao also mentioned, is that hardly determines 4 or 5% of your overall portfolio return. But if you look at this, disproportionate of our time in terms of our conversation with clients goes in terms of trying to justify why we have that particular scheme rather than getting his attention into asset allocation. Having said that, I think making the right asset allocation plan is not very simple. It may sound very simple. You can put 20% to equity, 20% to debt, into real estate. The seven asset classes which Ajit spoke about. I think the choice of how much has to be put in which asset class at what life stage of a client is the most important aspect, and it cannot be just done by simply buying a software and just inputting data and out the data comes. I think there are a lot of softer things which essentially go into it. You need to understand client emotions, you need to understand his biases, you need to understand his choices, preferences, his ability to take risk, and obviously his financial goals. That's very very important, and that's what really makes it very very complicated. And honestly, looking at where regulation is going, in terms of clients are now questioning the role that advisors or mutual fund distributors are playing in terms of actually helping them kind of reach their financial goals. I think one big differentiator is going to be in terms of getting the right asset allocation mix. I think if you can do that for your client and customer, I think there's a big amount of service that you can essentially do in terms of creating many, many more happy investors and ensuring that the customer experience is extremely good. So that's all I would like to kind of add from my end. I can go on and on, but I think I'm sure, Kanak, the way you've been shaping up this entire volatility game, and along with the asset allocation built into it, I'm sure it will help a lot of our mutual fund distributors in not only creating happy customers and clients, but also genuinely adding value to their clients on their portfolio, and thereby expanding their business. And if you ask me, I think so far we've been lucky. We've got asset classes which actually have had dream runs, whether it's been equity, you've seen portions of gold doing extremely well. But as and when markets essentially start looking expensive, or asset classes essentially start looking expensive, that's where a good asset allocation program needs to kind of come in. So you're talking about the timing of this particular thing. I don't think so there could be a better time than this in terms of people actually starting to take this extremely, extremely kind of seriously. So I'd like to wish you and the entire team, and of course you guys are the experts. And one thing I must say is that, and I would agree with what KS Rao said. What I think you and your team essentially do is make the most complex things simplified in a manner which can be understood by investors in a very very simple manner, and they can relate to it. So all the best and keep doing all the good work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Manesh. I think that's the reason this is the 19th game in the Volatility game series, which is launched. This is again in the form of a workshop, which is approximately 1.5 hours. We have just shared the video. There is a game, there are teams, there is a lot of debate and a lot of other things. But today, what we I just thought let us just see what people have written actually as far as this retirement thing is concerned. No, people were just writing, a lot. So let's see. Yeah, this is what most of us are writing. I don't know, people stopped writing after that. So this is what all of us think, that this is what retirement is all about. So all of you sitting there, wherever you are sitting, if you can just write, things will come on the screen. And if more than one people write a same word, I think that word will keep on growing. So this is the format. We will just take a little, it will only take 2 minutes for today's quiz. Okay, so let's run the quiz and let's see. So this was the video. I'm not. So this is a little technical, okay? Maybe a lot of people will have little controversy, but again, details will be shared all in the workshop. But again, all of us can just try, just play the game. You will all have to use your phone, okay? And it is not the normal Zoom call game, okay? So, okay, so here we have the first question coming up. Only thing is you need to do is, okay, I think there is something wrong, which is wrong. Okay. Technology. Never mind, I'll just see. So the idea is there will be some few questions on the screen, 7 questions to be very precise. All of you can actually just answer them as you just take it further. Just give me, maybe in the meantime, if our esteemed speakers, if you can just talk a little more, if you wish to speak, maybe Ajit, you can add something more, because.
Sure, I can. As you get the quiz going, I think completely agree with all of the panelists who spoke about asset allocation, and I was enjoying when Debashish talked about his training program more than 34 years ago, talking about how asset allocation was the lesson taught to him by saying that if you don't do asset allocation, you will be an ass at every other location or every location. I think it is true. But like most good things that are true, it's very difficult for people to do, as Aniruddha was saying. So we have to end up questioning ourselves from time to time, and it's very difficult to do. And that's because I feel that when we are planners, financial advisors, and we are in a financial career, somehow I find that very few people have, Kanak, your curiosity of continuing to learn every year or every 6 months probably. I don't know what is your frequency of learning and reinventing yourself. And I've seen the different avatars that you have played for the entire community, of course, and that's only helped us and added value to us. And the reason I say it is because much of the people I know in the financial advisory practice tend to follow what financial advisory practices were 50 years ago, and they haven't progressed to what the latest of the science in that area is talking about that same subject. And I think that's the reason why you find so much disruption in today's world, where youngsters come with their technology and they decide to do the same thing in a different way, and you get disrupted. So the entire financial advisory business, the practice, they have all been stuck in the 1950s accounting era, where everybody believes that if you're a mathematics genius, then you can get everything right. And asset allocation obviously is about proportions and things like that. And in the 80s, the science progressed to Daniel Kahneman and Richard Thaler, who talked about what is more important is actually getting the behavior right, and not just the mathematics and accounting right. If you get the behavior right, you will probably get much more correct about the final outcome. And one of the behavioral biases that almost all of us have is what's called the recency bias. The latest good news or negative news ends up, affecting all of us very badly. So, we take decisions based on that, and we end up concentrating money saying, abhi gold chalne wala hai. So, nikalo paisa, gold mein ghus jao. Or that, now small caps will work. Or maybe now it is, real estate is on the cusp of a big rally. Let's get into real estate. And that's what, you continue to keep repeating your mistakes because of this recency bias. And I think your volatility game, Kanak, probably, hopefully hardwires people to learn that, how do you get out of this recency bias, and how do you stick to a discipline? How do you stick to a process? In this whole aspect of financial advisory sciences, actually, even people have gone ahead of even Daniel Kahneman and Richard Thaler, where now the experts believe that, feelings have also to be acknowledged, and it is not just behavioral biases. And you have to, also take care of feelings. Now, when you think about this journey of how this success in this business has been decided by just accounting standards and mathematics to becoming behavioral coaches, to hopefully also being able to manage feelings of people, it basically requires each one of us to be empathetic, highly empathetic. And the way that we are seeing technology disruptions happening all across the world in different industries and different categories, the only category that technology cannot disrupt is any category that is high on empathy. And financial advisors are the highest on empathy because they have to handle these feelings and, behavioral biases. Every other part of the business can get disrupted with technology, but not the core of the hand-holding and the advice and the skill sets, Kanak, that you're helping, everybody get. So even today in hospitals, you see that a very good knee surgeon or any other surgeon is getting replaced by robots, because the robot can do the surgery even more precisely than that surgeon. But the nurse is not getting replaced. You see, the nurse, you can't make a robot, because the nurse has to be empathetic about the patient to understand, without the patient saying anything, what the patient is feeling and what he or she needs and how to take care of him or her. So I think in this empathy journey, this core of our business, Kanak, the value add that you do in terms of building those skills to do hand-holding much better, managing those feelings and behavior coaching much better. I think that is a great service, and kudos to you, and wishing all success to, all of the coaches, who you're mentoring.
Yeah, same. I think you can see almost 33 people have joined the game, which is there. Their names are actually coming on the screen, all those people. And this is just a 25-second question and 7 questions. So approximately 2 to 2.5 minutes, we will finish the quiz. The idea is engagement. It is not about how technically skilled we are. And let me just give you, there are 170 coaches now. And I hope that each one will conduct one asset allocation game every month, which means that in next 1 year, even if 2000 games are conducted by this 170 coaches, minimum new people reaching investors, I think, is 1 lakh. So that's what the calculation I was sharing with everyone today. So I think each one can actually do this. So let's begin the quiz. Maybe some of us will join a little later, but we can just see the quiz questions coming up on the screen. So we have given good time for everyone to just get in. I think more and more people are joining in. It's again about the technology. No, it's just because maybe the first time people are playing, so we are finding it hard to switch between laptop and a phone and using the barcodes. But I think this is something which is becoming a reality, and we will have to use more and more tools like this in form of games or in form of engagement. So let's begin. Maybe 38 people, 39 people right now, but I think more people will join, and let's 40 people. So good to start with. So let's have the first question ready. Okay. So the first question is, it will come on your screen and you all can answer, and it's only 25 seconds. Strategic asset allocation, what do you think? Adheres to the basic policy mix? You can set a target, both of the above or none of the above. Okay. You can just answer, put a click on the screen, okay, on your phone, and it will just appear on the screen like this. Yeah. Almost 31 of you answered, and the maximum answer has come for the second option and the third option. So, but the right answer is, so both of above. So all those people who are answering right, they are automatically getting their name there, and all those people who will be in top 5, their list will come in front of us with the names, okay? So let's, so for this particular round, Pooja was fastest. Okay, let's move to the second one. This is about constant asset allocation. Maybe some issue again.
But it's very interesting, Kanak. Nicely done and awesome.
No, actually, we did it with this group also some day back.
And it's awesome. I think kudos to you. I think
it can easily be played, and anywhere we all can actually. I don't know what went wrong. So sorry, friends. It is like it has taken a little more time than what it is usually should take. So most of the time when you have backup plans for this, but again, time is the crucial thing. So this way again, for the first question, congratulations to Pooja, wherever you are, whether from Agra, I think. So I'll just have another option, we'll directly take it.
To the Zoom quiz.
Yeah, Zoom is, that's there. But it is really, really good insight, learning from the stalwarts talking about, which I think everybody has agreed that asset allocation is something which is very, very important. And through this game, actually, we can actually get to know that what, which area where we all can actually put more depending on the age, whatever is shared is really, really good and nice. So yeah. So now we have the whole thing coming up again. So this is the first one we already did. Let's move to the next question. Okay, this is the second option, constant weighing asset allocation. Portfolio be rebalanced, true or false? To its original mix, do we really need to do that? Details we will do when we do the session, but for now it's only true or a false. Yes, we have very simple questions. Great. So yes, 90% of you tell true, and that's right. Okay, let's move to the next question. Tactical asset allocation. Okay, so many varieties of asset allocation. Market timing component, capitalize on unusual or unexpected investment, mostly short-term strategy, or all of above. What do you think is a tactical asset allocation? Yes, and another 4 seconds. Okay, 77% of you tell all of the above, and you are right. Okay, dynamic asset allocation. I think most of the AMCs have the funds which is named as dynamic asset allocation also, and that is what they are doing. So constantly adjusting the mix of asset as the market rise or fall, or no adjustment of mix of asset which means it is all fixed from the day one. I think it is little easy. And more than that, now everybody is used to this. And here we have, obviously, most of you tell the same, and you are right. So it's constant adjustment. I think some companies do it daily, some do it monthly, and so on and so forth. The fifth question, there is another asset allocation, insured asset allocation, which one is correct? Portfolio value, which will never fall below the base levels. And the other option is when portfolio drop to a base value, you invest into a risk asset, so that it becomes again normal or equal. Very interesting. When we just see these methodologies actually working, wow, 34 of you have answered and you are right. So more or less 70% have given the right answer. So the second last question, integrated asset allocation. Consider the investor's risk tolerance. Do not consider the actual market changes. Friends, this is quiz, so it is looking tough. But when we play the game, things will look very simple and we all will have a good learning. And for sure, we will be having a lot of stories also. Why asset allocation? Obviously, also from the ancient India's stories. And that will make it more interesting. So I really look forward. Okay, so most of you have answered correct. It's about consider the investor's risk. And the last question, and after that we will have the asset allocation is all about market timing or managing volatility. I think each one of us should get this right. The last one, I think people are so excited that they're writing on the screen, Saundarya Raja. It's by mistake, but this is the last question. And here we get the answer. Wow, 100% of the people are telling this is amazing. That's the beauty. And here we have the final winners. Wow. So congratulations, Upinder from Hyderabad, Mr. Ramalingam, Alok Joshi is from Calcutta, Anurag and Lakshman. So I'll click. You really need to call me, all of you. You win a gift voucher from Business Line, which is a half a year subscription for the digital newspaper. And that's it. So that was it. And I hope you all enjoyed. It was a simple quiz. If all could have participated, that could have been really, really good. The results were also there. So Upinder is there. Congratulations, Upinder, to all of you. And thank you so much. Maybe a last one-liner from all of you, and then we can just be done for the day. Thank you so much.
I've spoken enough, Kanak. But thank you so much. This was very interesting, fascinating, very engaging. Thank you.
We have created new videos also, which is again telling how international brands and all, maybe time is not enough and we have already reached the time. So we are not sharing that, but it is all a part of the workshop. And I'm sure all the volatility coaches will be undergoing this and then conducting this with their investors. Now it is all open to everyone. Thank you so much.
All the best. I'm signing off. Thank you.
Congratulations, Kanak, and congratulations to all the volatility coaches. I think, as Ajit said, probably you also need to migrate to be a behavioral coaches as you go forward. Probably that could be the best way. And asset allocation, it's a simple, but it's an art and it's a science. I always call asset allocation art of asset allocation. That is a AAA, Amar, Akbar, and Anthony, right? It's you need to play the different roles, different games, and you need to learn. And the winners, the success or wealth creation always depends on one is the art of asset allocation. Second is the science of scheme selection. I keep telling people it's a triple S, science of scheme selection. That is a Satyam, Shivam, and Sundaram. You create the true wealth. What is that? Undestroyable, and it's a Sundaram. And I wish all the good luck. And this learning is always like sharpening your saw, and so that you can plan well, and you can also create a lot of wealth for the customers to you. And wishing you all a wonderful time. And probably I love that Ajit's comment at last is like, when you have a robo and there is a nurse you cannot replace, but with a behavior you can nurture your customers and you will never be replaceable. And there is an artificial intelligence, but there is an advisor intelligence. This AI cannot replace the other AI, but you can use that AI, and all the good luck to you. Thank you so much, Kanak, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you,
Kanak. Thank you, the community. Don't keep the good word with you. Spread it. The concept must go to every single population of every entity of India. We are at 1.5 to 2.2% of the people who have been owning mutual fund. 98% of people to be achieved. If you are going for even 50%, it will take 30 years or more than that for you. And who can do? All of you can do. Spread the good word. Let everybody benefit out of these good concepts that they will benefit. India is going for a lot of changes. And Ajit, don't be under that positive thinking that robo will not replace nurses. And there are plans that there are experimentations that they're trying to replace every relationship. I'm not naming it. I'm in the family. So this will happen. And anyhow, other than the just, I am telling that this good word that India is maybe 7% of our financial savings, if total of into equity and mutual fund both are there. And the only 2% the population knows these things. So people have fear. People have that empathy, what you are emphasizing on, that is required, and the behavioral hand holder of not to reinforce his fear, rather to dilute his fear, and when he's greedy to bring him back to the world. So that is what is required, and that can be realized by this volatility game and this asset allocation game, and telling him and not go by your bias, go by what is suggested by your advisor. And I think you are doing a fantastic job, and people will slowly gain and feel the need of doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank can I say something, Kanakji?
Yeah, Pindaji. You are the winner.
Thank you so much to all the speakers. Eminent
speakers.
Yeah.
You won the quiz.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I think Aniruddha. Aniruddha, you can speak.
Yeah. So thank you, Kanakji. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations once again to all the volatility coaches. I think if we can really create the atmosphere of asset allocation and people actually do asset allocation seriously, I think a lot of our problem will go away. As Ajit stated, it's more of a behavioral finance, and I think that's the thing which is going to rule. I have just read a book, Psychology of Money. It's a great book. If possible, go through that book. And it specifically states that personal finance is more of person than finance. So every person will be different. And for that, as per his or her requirement, his asset allocation or her asset allocation has to be designed. And that's why I think another person who can handhold is required. Whether we like it, whether we don't like it, but a handholding and a proper advisor is definitely required. So all the best to all the volatility coaches. Let's create and spread the language of asset allocation. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Kanak, thank you once again. I think it was great being on the panel. Very interesting thoughts right across from, of course, our colleagues in the industry. All I can say is that understand asset allocation is just one part of it, but the true wisdom when it comes to actually applying asset allocation comes from what you call as experience and practice. So it's not about only attending the volatility game, I think. And I like that I saw somebody pinging and telling that, I met when you said that our target should be reach out to 1 lakh investors. I think that is what's going to make the difference. And it can keep multiplying. So all I can say is just continue the good work and all the very best. And I think if we can get the basic, which is the asset allocation right for our investors, I'm sure there'll be many investors who will not only be happy, but will actually find true financial freedom. So thank you and all the best.
Thank you. How do you feel, Upinder? You are the winner for the quiz today.
Thank you, sir. It was a fantastic experience of technology, and not just technology, the common things which probably in our day-to-day life we forget. So it's more to do again the recap of everything. And thanks to all the eminent speakers, Mr. Menon, Mr. Mohanty, Mr. Rao, Mr. Thakur, and Mr. Aniruddha. There are many keywords which I take out from this. I'll just share 4 or 5 of them. One is, as Mr. Thakur just said, experience, practice. Then Mr. Anirudh said about personal finance is more to do with the person than rather the finance, because, and again, it talks about the behavioral aspect of individuals, asset allocation, and 2 things which I would never forget is with Mr. Mohanty said, which he was taught 34, 35 years back about the asset allocation. That has got fixed in my mind now. I'll definitely quote it elsewhere as well. So it was a fantastic experience, and I'm sure the marathon which you have started, Kanak sir, we will take it to much further level, and 1 lakh is just a number. We will definitely do it. Thank you so much for this game.
Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen, for your presence, for your time, and I think it's really an honor. And we really look forward to reach out to more and more people across India and play asset allocation with them. Thank you so much.
All the best. Thank you.
So we conclude the event. Maybe just next week, what we are having, I'll just share a little bit on that. We all are done for the day. Sorry. Coming weeks. Next week, we have interesting session coming up. And before we leave, I think we have a thank you note for our Mr. Debasish Mohanty. If you can, I think, see it on the screen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vanak. I could see.
Thank you, Mr. Rao. And this is again a joint effort from 27 MFD associations also. Thank you, Mr. Ajit Menon.
Thank you, Kanak.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Manesh Thakur. And the next 2 weeks, episode 17 and 18, we have a session on retirement and successfully how you can actually healthy retirement, okay? Healthy living and healthy retirement. And the week after that, we have a session on marketing, where some of our MFDs, they are using marketing in a very, very unique way, maybe planting a tree or maybe using the first page of the Telegraph and a lot of other stuff. So that is something which we will be sharing on the 2nd of Jan. So these are the next two sessions which is about to come, and we really look forward to that. So thank you very much.